Hi kids, I'm Storytime Pup, and welcome to the Storytime Pup Show. I'm so glad you came by to play. I love when my friends come by to play, and you're one of my friends. Are you ready to have fun? Let's see what we're going to do today. Magic marker, show us what we're going to do today. Yay! It's storybook time! We love storybook time! Well, hi kids, and thanks for stopping by for today's book. Today's book is The Golden Kite, and it's written by Sandy Jarvis. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started with today's book. Chapter 1, Greenwood. It's a magnificent day, Mr. Goose said, flapping his wings. As your teacher, I am proud to announce that Greenwood has been selected for the first art project. The class will compete in the competition, and the best artwork will win a golden medal. Benjamin hopped around the room with excitement. That's awesome! I have a chance to win the gold medal! The class laughed, and it hurt Benjamin's feelings. Come on, everyone knows that Lenny always wins these things, Pig Albert said. Benjamin, you can still try, Mr. Goose said, smiling. Lenny was the star pupil at Greenwood. He had already won 4 silver medals, but this time, Benjamin thought it would be different. Benjamin wanted to be the first rabbit to win a gold medal and have his photo in the newspaper. Benjamin, Mr. Goose said, Stanley is your partner for the art project. Chapter 2, Stanley. Stanley? Oh no, not Stanley. Stanley was known as the Slow Loris, and even though Stanley was his partner and best friend, he could never win the contest with Stanley. Stanley would often leave the classroom and sleep on the park bench. Stanley struggled with paying attention, and he moved terribly slow. He was loyal and trustworthy. This was important to Benjamin. At least Stanley was dependable and fun to be with. Over the next few days, Benjamin worked hard on his school project. He was determined to win. This was his great moment. Benjamin refused to give up. He did not rest for 1 minute. Turning to Stanley, he whispered, I'm finally going to beat Lenny and win this contest. I'm starting to feel that gold medal is mine. Remember, we are a team, Stanley said, smiling, and it takes 2 to win the contest. Okay, pal, Benjamin said. Let's make this happen. Benjamin and Stanley went into the workshop to find crayons, glue, and scissors. It would not be too hard to make a mask out of a paper plate, but for some reason, Stanley made the holes too big. The mask was lopsided, and the glue didn't hold in place. Stanley, Benjamin yelled, can't you do anything right? I need to win this gold medal. Look, I'm sorry, said Stanley. If you really want to win that contest, let's make the sun. Benjamin looked surprised. That's a clever idea. You're not that dumb after all. Stanley nodded his head. Benjamin stepped outside to gather wood for his new project. Stanley assembled the wooden parts into a homemade crate, and then they pasted tree branches on the box. Eggshells were placed on the long stems with a small flashlight hidden inside the bin. Benjamin was so happy that he hopped around the forest. We did it, Stanley! He shouted. Chapter 3, The Handmade Kite. That afternoon, Benjamin and Stanley entered the room filled with creative art, handmade toys, painted rocks, and even a white lizard. Benjamin's sun project was the absolute best. Nobody would beat it. Nobody. But then, Benjamin noticed something else. A beautiful handmade kite with golden sprinkles in the front. It stood against the wall like a souvenir. The surface was smooth and glossy. It was unique in shape and color. Benjamin's shoulders dropped. He knew right away who created this spectacular kite. "I designed this myself," Lenny said proudly. Benjamin stood there dumbfounded. His lip tightened. "That stupid Stanley," he thought. "It was his fault. He never should have suggested the sun idea." "This masterpiece is mine," Lenny bragged. "What put me in first place?" "Pretty good, Lenny," Stanley said. Benjamin was angry at him for complimenting the competition. A few seconds later, Mr. Goose arrived. "Great work, class. They were all very beautiful. I have decided that we have 2 pieces tied for first place, Lenny's and Benjamin's. Tomorrow the official judging will happen, and the winner will go home with the gold medal." Everyone cheered. "Greenwood is the best!" "And let's not forget," Mr. Goose said, "anyone caught cheating will be suspended from school." Chapter 4. The Competition. On the walk home from school, Benjamin was worried. "We have to do something about that kite, Stanley." "Do what?" said Stanley. "I'm not gonna cheat. No medal is worth suspension from." "Hold on, little buddy," Benjamin interrupted. "No one said anything about cheating." "Of course not," Stanley said, embarrassed. Just then, Lenny ran past holding his kite. Pig Albert, his best friend, was right beside him. "Let's follow them, Stanley. No one will see us." "Right now?" Stanley said, turning his head. Lenny and Pig Albert made their way home through the woods. They were moving so fast that Stanley could not keep up. Benjamin raised his voice. "Go a little faster. You're moving too slow." "I can't go any faster," Stanley insisted. Chapter 5. The Tunnel. Then, suddenly, Lenny and Albert disappeared. A few moments later, they were spotted sitting under a tree. "They're over there," Stanley pointed. Benjamin quickly took cover behind a bush. "Just keep them in sight, Stanley. We need to find out where they are going. It may have something to do with that kite. Stay focused." Stanley grumbled. "Let's go home. This was a waste of time." "No way," said Benjamin. "This is too important." Without looking back, Lenny raced across the small bridge into a tunnel. Pig Albert was right behind him. He did not slow down. Benjamin could see them pick up a large heavy lid and then put it back down again. When they left, they did not have any kite any longer. As soon as they left, Benjamin rotated his flashlight back and forth. He could not find the secret hiding place. He turned to Stanley. "It's here somewhere. Look for a rusty lid." Rubbing his head, Stanley mumbled, "It's time to go home." "Not yet," Benjamin said. "Let's try lifting up this board." Chapter 6. The Golden Kite. Stanley stood there without moving. Then he glanced around slowly. "Can you move a little faster, Stanley? We don't have all day. The contest is tomorrow." Taking a deep breath, Benjamin and Stanley lifted the heavy lid off. Benjamin wiped his forehead and smiled. "We did it, Stanley. That bear is clever, but he's not clever enough." Stanley closed his eyes and let out a loud cheer. "So far, so good," Benjamin said. "Nothing can stop us now." With the kite flying high, Benjamin ran up and down the woods yelling, "I'm a superhero!" "Don't go too fast," Stanley babbled. Within seconds, a strong breeze lifted the kite from Benjamin's hold. The kite drifted into a tall tree. A look of annoyance came over Benjamin's face. With his head up high, he cried out, "Do something, Stanley!" Stanley did not respond immediately. Finally, he said, "I'm ready." "It took you long enough," Benjamin pouted. Stanley took his time climbing the tree. Then he stood in one place for several minutes. When the rain began to pour down, Benjamin stood up and snatched the kite from Stanley's grip. The kite was torn in pieces. Stanley fell out of the tree quickly. What went wrong? Benjamin said. Stanley said nothing. Chapter 7. The Lie. Benjamin squeezed Stanley's tail. It happened so fast it was like a stupid mistake. You can't tell anyone what happened. Lenny will never forgive me, and I'll be eliminated from the contest. So what's the plan? Stanley said. Let's put that kite back in the tunnel. No way, said Stanley. Lenny is my friend, and I'm not a good liar. Benjamin agreed. But do you want to get suspended from school? Stanley shook his head. Of course not. Let's do this. Without hesitation, Benjamin and Stanley placed the torn kite back in the dark hole. They covered the kite with the heavy lid. Benjamin leaned forward, lowering his voice. Remember to keep quiet. This is our little secret. Stanley did not seem happy. Okay, I guess you can count on me. They headed off in opposite directions. Benjamin felt so sad and disappointed that he could not fall asleep. All he heard was Lenny's voice. You destroyed my kite. This was my special day. For a moment, he stared out the window. Finally, he went back to sleep with tears in his eyes. Chapter 8. The Contest. The following day, Benjamin and Stanley went back to Greenwood. Immediately, the door opened, and they heard shouting and screaming. You dismantled my kite! Lenny was yelling. That isn't true, Pig Albert said. The students kept yelling, Albert the traitor! Pig Albert swung around. Be quiet! Lenny is my friend! What kind of friend are you? Lenny said. I never took the kite, Pig Albert pleaded. Benjamin could not tell the truth about flying the kite. It was too late for bluntness. He looked at Stanley and mumbled, Just stay quiet. Stanley shook his head, and then 5 seconds later, Mr. Goose entered the room. What's the matter with you guys? The news media is here for the contest. Pig Albert destroyed my kite, Lenny screamed. I can't participate in the contest now. It's not my fault, Pig Albert responded. Stop yelling, Mr. Goose said. We need to resolve this matter. The contest is about to start. For the next couple of minutes, Lenny told his side of the story. Stanley lowered his head. Mr. Goose stood up and said, What is your proof, son? Sorry, said Lenny. I have no proof, but Pig Albert knew about the hiding place. Carefully, Mr. Goose took the torn kite from Lenny's book bag and rubbed his chin and removed his rim glasses from his face. All the news media was there. This was an important event, so without delay, Mr. Goose placed his hand on Lenny's shoulder. Lenny, he said, I have to disqualify you from the contest. Sorry, it must be this way. Albert is on your team, and I see no real evidence of tampering. Lenny forced back the tears, and Benjamin had a big grin on his face. Mr. Goose hesitated, and then he made the announcement. I proudly present the gold medal to Benjamin and Stanley. Chapter 9. Judgment Day. Mr. Goose went on. This is an honor, class. Please stand up and cheer for our new winners. Benjamin took a step towards the front desk, but then he turned around. For the first time, he began to feel uncomfortable about taking the gold medal. It wouldn't be right for him to win the prize. He needed to tell the truth. I destroyed Lenny's kite, he said quietly. I didn't mean to. It was so silent, Benjamin could have heard a pin drop. Mr. Goose stumbled for a few seconds. Then quickly, he removed his rimmed glasses. It was you, Benjamin? That is impossible. Sorry, Benjamin said, nodding. I removed the kite from the tunnel. It was a perfect day for gliding, and I was playing superhero in the woods. Then out of nowhere, there was this strong wind. Somehow the kite landed in the tree. I reached up and grabbed the kite too hard. And that second, the kite was damaged. I was afraid to tell the truth. I didn't want to be eliminated from the contest. Lenny burst out into tears. How could you, Benjamin? This was my special day. Pig Albert interrupted. You betrayed us, Benjamin, and you made me look like a thief. At that moment, the students gathered around Benjamin. Benjamin the thief, they shouted. Stanley slowly sank back down into his chair. I'm dreadfully sorry, Benjamin said again and again. I don't deserve the gold medal. Chapter 10, The Gold Medal. Stanley stood up straight, and then he stared at Lenny's face. Now listen, he said. There's no reason why Benjamin should take all the blame. This was my fault, too. I lifted the heavy lid into the tunnel. I kept quiet. That's enough, said Lenny. I don't blame you. I'm just disappointed. Lenny paused for a second, and he said, I do believe it was an accident. Stanley is not a good liar. I can enter the contest for next year. Benjamin sobbed. Oh, thanks, pal. And then, for some reason, Lenny gave him a big hug. The news media stood up and applauded. Mr. Goose was impressed by the act of forgiveness. He quickly said, We have 2 winners this year, Benjamin and Lenny. They both deserve the gold medal. Benjamin closed his eyes and opened them again. I can't believe it, he said. But why do I get a second chance? No one is perfect, Benjamin, Mr. Goose said, leaning back in his chair. You made a mistake. Although you lied, you decided to be honest at the end. That's awesome, Benjamin added. Mr. Goose looked to Lenny. And you were willing to wait until next year. Now that is a sign of a winner. I am proud of you guys. Benjamin then said, When you have friends like Lenny and Stanley, you are a winner. Then Stanley said, smiling, For the contest next year, Lenny, just paint a rock. It can't be torn apart. Everyone laughed. The end. So what did you think about today's book? Did you learn anything? I hope you learned that it's always best to tell the truth. And also, the importance of true friendships and being a true friend to others. I want to say a great big thank you to Sandy Jarvis for sharing this wonderful book with us. There's one more thing that we always do at the end of every show. Magic glasses. Magic glasses lets me see some of my friends who came to play. Maybe I'll see you today. Magic glasses, that's the way. Show me my friends who came to play. Okay, now everyone smile and wave and let me see if I see you. Oh, I see Layla and Eric. There's Ava and Maddox. And Stella. Oh, hi, Timothy. And Marissa. There's Pedro and Charlie. Oh, hi, Bradley. And Audrey and Levi. Oh, hi, Amelia. Oh, I see a lot of my friends waving at me. Did I see you today? If not, maybe I'll see you next time. Make sure you check back soon, because we'll be adding a bunch of new shows every week. Make sure you have an adult click on the subscribe button right here. That way you won't miss any of the fun. Moms and dads, make sure you visit the Storytime Pup website to sign up for our great free giveaways. We have giveaways for books, CDs, DVDs, t-shirts, and other great stuff. Sign up just once, and you'll have a chance for all the drawings to come. And kids, don't forget to tell your friends about Storytime Pup. And before I go, here's a great big hug for all my friends. Thanks for stopping by to play. I'll see you real soon. Bye now.